Hi, Bill Jones from Turntastic Wood Designs. I'm continuing to work on my entertainment console and got some good progress done this week. Got the doors done, and that was actually really a learning experience for me and a lot of fun. Got the adjustable shelves done. So all the major parts are completed now, and I'll show you how that progress went next. To make the doors, I'm using a router bit set that I picked up at my local woodworking supply store. And there are three, actually the router bit set that I picked up has two router bits that make the stiles and rails for the door. What you do is once you've got them cut, you cut the ends of the rails. Pull this up where we can see it well. To look like this. It's kind of an odd shape, and there's a, it'll make sense in a minute. There's a bit that fits that. And then on the long sides, on the inside of all the rails and the stiles, you use this other bit. And it makes this bead. And what that does is you wind up with a joint that gives you a lot of glue surface for your stile and rail, and they fit together and have a real nice look. Then there's a third router bit that I had already that is used for making the raised panel. So that makes this raised panel. And if you put everything together, if you get everything set up right, and I did practice, because it does take some practice to get used to using these bits. They're a little precarious, but everything goes together and makes a real nice looking door. And that's in general the raised panel that I'm going for. So this was a practice, so we'll do it for real now. So I cut some stock to the right length and width for the stiles and rails of the doors. I cut the ends of the rails with router bit number 1. And the inside edges of both the stiles and the rails with router bit number 2. And here's all the stiles and rails just snapped together dry. Bit number 3 is used to make the raised panels, and it's a little more precarious and have to go pretty slow, and I made sure to use a couple of feather boards to hold it tight to the fence. These panels come off the router table actually looking fairly rough. There's quite a bit of grooves or waves in them, and a lot to be cleaned up. And that has to be done before the doors can be assembled, because once they're assembled, you'll never be able to get your hands down in there to sand that. And the sanding will have to be done by hand. So the way they look, I'm going to have to sand the tarnation out of them. For those of my viewers who may not speak fluent hillbilly and don't know what tarnation is, actually, I don't know what it is either. Just know that I'm going to sand vigorously and considerably. Now that I've got all the door parts sanded, I'm ready for assembly. When you make the panels that go inside, you make them intentionally a little bit smaller than what is a tight fit, because you want them to expand and contract naturally. But I overdid it a little bit and made them a little too small. So when I put them in, they rattled a lot. And there's an easy way to fix that without having to make whole new panels. And you basically take some foam rubber. This was from a pipe insulation. And you jam it down in the slot in a couple of spots. And that will keep it from rattling, and it'll cushion, and it'll also allow it to expand and contract because that foam is flexible that way. So when I put them together, I forgot my little brush. Be right back. So when you put them together, you don't want any glue to get on the panel, because you want it to expand and contract. So you really only put glue on the rails where they meet the stiles. There's a lot of glue surface here to make a plenty strong joint. Well, after I took the doors out of the clamps from gluing them up, I did a little rough sanding. And one thing that I did, I mentioned earlier that I wanted to try to make these 2 doors kind of look like 4 doors. So to do that, I made this center stile extra wide, a little more than double wide. And I forgot to turn the camera on and film the next bit, but I think I can explain. I simply lifted the table saw blade up a little bit and ran these doors through the table saw to create a little slot here, and it kind of gives the illusion of 4 doors. And when the doors were finished, I went ahead and created the adjustable shelves. There's really not much of a story to tell there. These are just flat panels cut to width and length. Well, that's as far as I got this week, which is pretty far. The only thing remaining is to sand it, finish it, and put on a back. And I'm going to do something a little different on the back that has to do with allowing access to the electronics. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, please like and share with your friends. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me out. If you have any questions or concerns or about anything that you've seen me do or anything in my shop or any other project, please let me know in the comments below, and I'd really enjoy hearing from you. And as always, thanks for watching.